did this right before you came in.
Ooh, that was a good one.
Might get one more.
You got another one yet?
Yeah.
Got another one? Oh, that one sounded good.
Okay.
I'm so envious. Happy Halloween.
Hi. Unfortunately for this video, I get to have the creepy dark voice because I have lost my voice just in time for Halloween. Oh, come on, it doesn't get better than that. Have Batman's voice on Halloween.
Oh my god.
Oh, I'm so ready. Haha, first F-bomb.
Stop it. You're making it worse than it is.
First F-bomb. Number 1. Batman.
This will forever be an argument in our home.
Yes, it will.
I hate Batman.
I carry memorabilia.
I hate Batman.
I still have one from 1993 in a box.
I hate Batman.
Carry a Batarang around in my wallet. Thanks, Alexis.
Hate Batman.
Also have the sticker hidden in my car. Nobody will ever find it.
Happy Halloween.
Thanks, guys.
Yay.
Thanks for joining us. Today is not our normal type of review of any sort.
No, we are not reviewing a movie. And it's not because it isn't what we do. It's just we couldn't exactly pick the movie that would represent Halloween. So instead, we are doing a salute.
Yes.
To a man known as the master of horror.
The king of horror himself.
Stephen King.
Yes.
Our hats off to you, Mr. King. You are a genuine literary legend.
And that's the reason why we decided to choose Mr. King to begin with, because of him, so many creations and so many movies have come out because of his
so many
ideas and stories. That's why we couldn't come up with a particular movie for Halloween, because there is literally so many that just, we felt Steve, as he prefers to be called, Steve King was the perfect contribution to Halloween horror.
Yes, especially since when we were looking at a lot of different horror movies to review as our Halloween movie, we kept coming back to his movies.
Right. Yeah.
We did. We kept coming back to his movies. And no wonder, because he actually holds a Guinness record of being, the most books to movies.
Yes.
He also is the most successful American author in history.
And anybody that knows me, I'm not a reader, I'm a watcher. So to me,
that sounded creepy.
A little bit. But I haven't experienced the books because I'm just going to plain say I don't read very well. I don't comprehend very well. I can read fine, but I don't comprehend. I don't create stories. Like I draw to create stories. I can't read to create stories in my head. So watching the movies is much better experience for me because I can see the creation happening. Now, that's not saying that movies are always better than books, but in my experience, because I don't read them, I'm never disappointed. Unless I'm disappointed with the movie. Like Pet Sematary 2.
Okay, yeah, I will go there with you.
Just throwing that out there real quick.
Pet Sematary 2.
Not the remake, actual Pet Sematary 2.
And we've discussed this before, and the reason Pet Sematary 2 is not on my list, I don't even acknowledge it, is because I could not relate with the main character. You know, poor me, my star mommy died. I couldn't relate to that. However, his buddy, with the abusive stepdad and all that, him I could relate to.
Most people, and just generally, could relate to that more like horrible experience.
That hurt and heartache when he lost his dog, and
exactly
the death of the rabbits, and
We have many of pets.
Oh,
we have
yes,
entire
critter lovers.
And actually, if you end up hearing dogs bark in the background, that's our new adopted one, Miss Molly, that has decided that she needs to let everybody know that she exists quite often.
And constantly talking shit with the dogs next door.
Yeah, that are through the wall and across the field to the next. But anyways.
But we digress.
Yes.
So, Stephen King has sold 350 million copies of his books, beginning with his 1973 first major sold novel. Now, he had others that had been published before.
Yes, of course.
He was 26 years old when Carrie became his first selling novel.
My personal favorite.
I like Carrie.
To be honest, because it was one of the first movies I had watched that I remember it being a Stephen King movie. That was the very first one I ever watched that I remember. And the flame, the anger, the
rage.
Yeah, the want to
blow it all up.
Watch the world burn.
Well, and I think
like it was awesome because I could totally feel what that character was going through.
I think for me personally, Carrie resonated. Mostly not because of all the telekinesis-y stuff, because I lack that ability. But right. I wish I'd had it, because I was kind of picked on through school. Again, I was dorky.
Being the weird kids.
Yeah. It wasn't even just weird. It was like, puberty had slapped the hell out of me and all that jazz, and girls are mean. So that scene where she's in the shower and she starts bleeding and they're all, I couldn't really understand that particular situation, but I had been in situations prior, and it's that whole being able to relate with the misfit kind of thing. And it hurt. Like, it really hurt. So when she was finally able to just rage out, when she realized what she could do.
And she just let loose.
And she let it go. I was like, you get it, girl.
The feeling was just like, oh, yes.
Now, Carrie 2, I didn't mind Carrie 2. I really kind of liked it.
I thought it was good.
And the Carrie remake, well done.
Again,
I think the girl they picked was absolutely, she's
wonderful.
So adorable. I can't remember her name.
I can't remember.
She is so damn cute.
But it was the pressure of life and her family situation that drove her to that pressure, to that edge, where when she finally went.
Yeah.
Again, some people just wanted to watch the world burn, and that was her.
And that's what I like so much about so many of the characters that Stephen King creates. You can relate to some of them on one level or another. They're like your everyday man. Like, in Misery, she is obsessed with this author, and she's so invested in the character. And I've been that kid where you read this series of books, and you are invested in these characters, and then they kill them off. And you are devastated. I mean, I'm not, Dolores Claiborne nuts, so it's not like I'm hunting down the author, and hobbling him, which, by the way, that scene to this day leaves a wonky feeling way down in my gut. I know it's coming. I've seen it millions of times, but every time.
It's the weapon that she uses, that
big ass fucking sledgehammer.
That it's not just a single spot like a stab wound, or it is blunt force trauma. And some of us say, I've been hit with some pretty intense objects before.
He's taken some balls to the face.
Really?
No.
That's where you went. Balls? Really?
I love you.
I love you too, but goddamn, the balls to the face. Anyways, hammering this dude by the ankle, not just at the foot, but the ankle. Kind of like on the Evil Dead, where we just watched the original Evil Dead, where the screwdriver, if I remember right, was a screwdriver, or it was an ice pick. I can't remember which one. But in the Achilles
no, it's a pencil.
Oh, damn.
It's a pencil. Right. She stabs into that soft skin between your ankle and your Achilles tendon and just drags it.
It's that part of your foot that is just like, that's going to hurt because everybody's twisted their ankle. everybody knows how painful that is, so you can relate to that type of situation.
Now, Stephen King's top-selling book, The Shining. Which, okay, I got to agree, I don't see what is so scary about The Shining. The suspense was there.
The suspense was there.
Like, you're sitting there going, what's around the corner? What's around the corner?
Right, and it was the chase.
It was the chase,
It was the chase that got you.
Yes. And it constantly, I loved the way The Shining was moving. All the time. Nothing felt static.
Right.
Moving all the time. There was always something new to get you going.
Even though they're in the same building the whole time, which is typically a static setting, there were so many rooms and so many ways to move about and continue going in one direction, like you're always moving forward, kind of like when in Lord of the Rings, where if you move left to right, it's always progressing, it's always moving forward. And that's what they did in The Shining, is that you always felt like you were moving down a different hallway or a different room.
You almost got a feeling of how big that hotel really was. And I have had the pleasure of not only seeing said hotel in Colorado, I have stayed the night in this hotel.
Wanted to, haven't had a chance to.
Didn't get to stay in the famous one, didn't even get to stay on the same floor. But there was something neat about it. It was nostalgic because I got to read The Shining when I hit my teen years. My mom gave me the okay. She said, "All right, you can." And it was almost like a sense of nostalgia. Like I was touching base with 12-year-old me again.
Right. Now the continuing of The Shining?
I can take or leave it.
I could take or leave it, but I liked the idea that that it was the boy grown up going back to the same place that haunted him for years.
Yeah.
And I liked
I like that they elaborated a little bit more on what Shining was.
Right. I liked the Soul Stealers. It was but I can
take that or leave it.
I will choose the original over the continuance.
I did like having some of those questions answered.
Dr. Sleep, by the way, is what
Dr. Sleep.
Dr. Sleep.
I apologize.
It is a good movie.
Oh, it is. It's really quite good.
And it's not a Shining 2. It is a continuance of The Shining. However, I will choose to watch Shining over Dr. Sleep at any point.
Mm-hmm. Now, I love the fact that King is meticulous. He writes 3 drafts for every one of his books.
Which, I mean...
That's insane.
That's
He also
crazy.
writes anywhere from 3 to 4 hours a day up to 1,000 words a day these days. It used to be, I do believe they were saying anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000. But, as the years go on, you slow down, and Mr. King is quite up there in age. He's not ancient, but he's not what he used to be.
No, he's only 67 right now?
I believe he's in his late 60s.
Yeah.
He's roughly my mother's age.
And if any of you say that you don't have time, you're completely full of shit. Because this dude not only reads for however many hours that he writes each day, he also had a family.
Yep. Which, by the way, Joe Hill, if you haven't read any of his books, go find them. I don't care if you look for it on a Kindle, if you do an audiobook, which I always recommend audiobooks. I love them.
Those are easier for me.
My favorite Stephen King story I heard on an audiobook read by the author himself. It was LT's Theory of Pets.
Yeah, you tell me
I was explaining to you for the rest of my life after hearing that, and I listened to it when I was in my early 20s. I hear the words "screw Lucy." Anybody who's read it, it's funny. It really is. It's actually quite funny. It's not scary at all. It's funny and it's heartwarming. LT's Theory of Pets. I'm not going to tell you anything about it. Just look it up. It is really a very, very good short story. And it's, above all things, it's one of my favorites. Because it just stuck with me. I don't know what it was about it, but it stuck with me.
That's awesome.
Which Stephen King movie scared you the most? Out of all of the ones you've seen, there's It, Misery, The Stand, Dreamcatcher, Tommy Knockers, The Mist, Pet Sematary. You haven't seen Cujo? We will rectify that. Carrie, Christine, Stand By Me, Dead Zone, Colorado Kid.
Okay,
I can go on and on. I've read almost all of his major novels. I have not read all of his short stories, but I believe I'm 15 shy of reading every one of his major novels.
So, Sam's Lot being
vampires.
What it is. And again, when I was younger, the vampires scared me the most, which also made it my most loved creature. Most of my drawings and like my demonic stuff is all
you do gravitate towards that.
Is very Fanged and Dracula and Bat structural type. Salem's Lot scared me the most when I was a kid. Dreamcatcher, and I would have to say, The Mist was pretty good.
The Mist, the end. Oh my God, the end.
The end was epic.
The entire audience. I went to the theater to go and see The Mist when it came out. The entire theater went dead silent.
Absolutely. Dreamcatcher, though, was my favorite movie.
That's a really good one.
I liked the fact of it being an unknown creature virus.
Yes.
Not just a virus, a living creature molding thing that took over an entire area when it touched something and spread so fast. Plague Inc., just throwing that out there. It reminds me of that because I ended up playing Plague Inc. afterwards and actually named some of my plagues after that movie. But
Cat's Eye. Cat's Eye is kind of like an anthology.
See, I never watched that, but real quick quote from Dreamcatcher, SSDD, stuck with me my entire life after I watched that movie because it was a metaphor saying, like, it's the same shit, different day.
Same shit, different day.
Like, that was awesome to me, and I loved that movie, and the powers that, what's his name? Deditz. Yeah. The powers that he had that overdid his friends because obviously they still had their abilities. When he was able to transform into his creature state, that was awesome to me. When he went into creature status and just went after this monster, that was so epic and so well portioned. Like
I loved that his mother understood.
Yes.
When they showed up,
absolutely.
even though he was really sick.
Yep.
And she knew he was going to die eventually, she let him go because she understood he had a bigger mission.
Right.
I gotta say, that made me actually a little teary, sitting there like, oh my God. To me, that is a strong woman to do that. To let her boy go like that when he was sick.
It was awesome.
And I liked that friendship that they had, that bond.
Absolutely. It was undying.
It pulls at your heartstrings. But Cat's Eye is kind of like an anthology.
Which I never watched.
It's a bunch of stories laid out into one.
And we watch a lot of anthologies.
I love anthologies.
We watch a ton of them, but I've not seen that one.
So, the very last story stars the adorable Drew Barrymore when she was a little girl. Drew Barrymore was so precious. She's a beautiful woman, but she was so damn cute. She was also in Stephen King's Firestarter.
Yes, I knew that.
Really good one, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, really good one.
I knew that one.
So with Cat's Eye, you follow this cat from family to family to family. It's almost like his 9 lives kind of situation.
Okay.
Well, this last one, a little girl, Miss Drew Barrymore, finds this kitty, brings him in. Mama is super opposed to this cat. I mean, like, she's total Karen. It was a black and brown striped tabby.
Okay.
So, anywho, it turns out there is a creature that lives inside this little girl's wall. And he opens up the wall and comes out at night, crawls up on her bed, and he looks kind of like a little jester. He's got little bells on it and everything. Just gnarly looking. Comes up onto the bed. He's got these 3 fingers like this.
Yeah.
Gets up on the bed while she's sleeping and puts his hand over her nose. So she has no choice but to breathe out of her mouth. And they actually show the breath coming out. And he starts sucking the breath out of her.
Very hocus pocus.
Kind of like suffocating her, stealing her breath. There's a wives' tale that if you have a baby, don't have a cat because cats steal babies' breaths.
Yep.
This cat was protecting this little girl from this monster. I'm not telling any more. All I'm going to say is
I'm going to watch it, just to let you know.
I believe you can find it on Hulu or Amazon Prime.
Okay.
All I'm going to say is that up until, let's see, I watched that when I was 10, 11. I slept with the covers over my face until I was almost 20 years old. Thank you, Mr. King. You scared the crap out of me. And that is not an easy thing to do.
That's awesome.
Done.
I'm going to mention a very underrated movie, Maximum Overdrive.
Yes!
One of my, again, sentimental value to me. It was one of my dad's favorites.
That green glow comes in on that one, too, that you see in Tommy Knockers.
Yeah.
And you see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to know more about this green glow. If any of you have any info about what the significance of the neon green in Tommy Knockers, Dreamcatcher, Maximum Overdrive, and they're all alien related. If you could please explain this, I would love to know. That is my only major question.
In which my theory is that back, in even I'd say the early 60s and horror up to any kind of weird,
even Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles used slimy green as their ooze.
Well, and even Exorcism used it as their eerie fog. Green has always been used for the
what is it about
weird and out
green?
There. I don't know.
What is it about?
I don't know. So that's my theory.
Maybe because it's a nice contrast with the red of blood.
Oh, that's very possible.
Because when you look on the color wheel, red and green.
They're matchers.
So,
anyways.
Our hats off to the king, the master of horror. Thank you for scaring the crap out of us all our lives.
From time and time again. Thank you so
all
much.
All our lives. You have been scaring the shit out of me personally since I was 9 years old. I absolutely love everything you put out. Every new novel is better than the last. Thank you so much, Mr. King, for being the master of horror and giving us all nightmares for the rest of our eternity. We're not worthy.
Thank you very much, guys, for joining in on this Halloween special. And again, we will be going live as well.
Yes, we are going live.
Which would be tonight because it's going to be released on Halloween. So
going live at 8 p.m. Central.
Yep.
On our Facebook channel, Gore to be Gore. Feel free, look us up. You will have to put in for an invite. We'll happily accept it.
Super easy. So thank you guys very much. We appreciate you.
Thank you so very much. And thank you, Mr. King. You all have extremely pleasant nights.